You know, Resident Evil 3 is genuinely one of my favorite games of all time. It refined everything from the last two games to make something truly special. The game introduced so many new brilliant concepts such as ammo crafting, in which there are various kinds of gunpowder that we can combine to create different ammo types. It introduced Mercenaries mode, which is a timer-based arcade-style minigame that really tests your skills. But it gave a lot of fun replayability that we haven't seen to this degree before. And last but not least, Resident Evil 3 introduced the fucking blueprint on how to make a perfect stalker. So last time we had Mr. X, and while he does technically classify as a stalker, he was so limited to the rooms that we fought him in that he never really had the chance to shine until the remake. But the thing about our stalker Nemesis here is that he likes to show up whenever he's feeling a little bit quirky at night. This game was released in Japan on September 22nd, 1999, and in the US on November 11th, 1999. This game was directed by Kazuhiro Aoyama and once again produced by Shinji Mikami. With all that said, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because it's story time. Okay, so our protagonist in this game is none other than our girl Jill Valentine, and if you don't remember her, how? Like, seriously, how? After her life in the first game, she chose to reside in the beautiful place that is Raccoon City, to continue her investigation and expose Umbrella for what they really are. But anyway, shit starts going down, and as our ears get blessed by this,
what are they?
the police then pull up and start chipping away at the horde. It starts to look like how my grandpa described Nam was back in the day, before Jill makes the most badass entrance possible. You know, you always gotta love the crazy ass introductions in these games. We knock this guy down and hop over this thing before we get surrounded. With no other options, Jill busts through this door, and may I just say to the man who voiced this NPC, thank you for this fucking perfection.
I just lost my daughter out there! How dare you tell me to go back outside?
But there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here.
No! I'm not going anywhere. I'd rather starve to death in here than be eaten by one of those undead monsters! Now leave me alone!
He's such an angry little guy.
Never!
But after that, we now have control of Jill. Freely being able to walk up and down stairs is a privilege you don't really understand that you have until you don't have it. You know what I mean? In the save room, we snag the warehouse key and some gunpowder A, which combining it with the reload tool creates handgun ammo. I really enjoy the ammo crafting system in this game, honestly. I understand how horror can derive from a place of feeling like you're very limited on your resources, but just having the option to create more ammo, it's nice. It's nice. I think so. Well, we use that warehouse key on this door and run through this alleyway as this guy busts out this door. We do a little cleanup here before going downstairs to already acquire my beloved shoddy, along with some lighter oil. So while we're chilling, you may be wondering when this game is taking place. All of the events that occur in RE3 happen canonically a day before RE2. That's why we see the outbreak of the T-virus in real time. I hope that makes sense. If not, oh well. We take the Uptown map and continue our pursuit of this mysterious man. We catch up to him in this bar and he seems to be pretty f***ed already, so I make the big boy decision by grabbing some bullets and the lighter instead of helping our friend over here. It's revealed that this guy is actually Brad Vickers, the helicopter pilot for Team Alpha who actually saved Chris and Jill in the first game. He then says this before leaving.
You'll see. He's after STARS members. There's no escape.
We leave the bar and light this rope before the gate collapses, revealing way too many zombies. But with our trusty R2 button, we can be patient and shoot the barrel to cause a nice little explosion. Side note, I also just love how this game looks. I understand that it technically looks worse than Resident Evil 2. Even just the fire emitting light does so much for me. Doesn't that make you feel a little good inside? We got teased with the city last time, and it just makes you really appreciate how good the pre-rendered backgrounds really look. And how it really feels like this shit really just happened, you know? Okay, so we open the gates to a familiar location and see Brad because he's very safe and nothing bad would ever happen to him. He's so fucked. So this is Nemi, and he's the cute little guy that's trying to murk the remaining STARS members. So we're gonna be responsible adults and tactically weave that shit. Good thing these doors are strong enough for now. But we take the RPD map, and it's just so cool that we see Marvin's unconscious body. But thankfully, Jill just had the intuition to know that a biker and a rookie cop will still not be able to save that man. In the locker room, this locker potentially has 4 different codes, and it's always random on each playthrough. It just so happened to be 0513, and we obtain obtain the emblem key. Hey, that rhymed. Up the stairs and past the statue, we use the key to enter the star's office. We take some bullets and a lockpick as we hear a distress call from someone named Carlos.
No survivors found. This is Carlos. Send in support immediately.
We snag the magnum from this cabinet, which also has the chance to be the grenade launcher as well. With all that out of the way, our friend invites himself via the window, and I'm gonna be honest, I am not built to even attempt these fights. He will literally skull fuck you with no remorse, so we leave the department and utilize that lockpick to continue over this way. I start playing this really fun game of keep away with these dogs, and put this fucker in his place. We take the power cable from this car in the parking garage, and acquire the downtown map. So, remember hunters from Resident Evil 1? Yeah, well this is the beta version of those guys, so that's why they look a little more malformed than the usual. That's short for usual, by the way. We enter Fredbear's diner to obtain the fire hook from the back. We use it to pry open this hatch, and a man arrives in the room. He introduces himself as Carlos. Jill gets pissed that he's associated with Umbrella. Nemesis promptly arrives, so Jill pulls this really crafty move. We then go outside as Jill asks,
Why did Umbrella send your team here?
Our mission is to rescue the civilians.
How kind of you. Considering Umbrella caused all this in the first place, those liars.
Look, we're just mercenaries, hired hands. No time for talking. If you can believe me, then join us.
We take the roasted crank from the save room before coming to terms with reality. We hit this sexy dodge and run just a little bit more to the Raccoon City Press. We push this ladder over here so that we can turn on the power and open this shelter door. Upstairs we obtain the green gem and juke Nemi once again before inserting the gems into this device that somehow opens the gates into the city hall. We make our way to this train to find yet another survivor of the rescue team sent from Umbrella, and his name is Mikhail. Carlos invites Jill to help, and the man says this.
No, we can't trust her.
But Sergeant, we need her help. Our unit's down to you, me, and Lieutenant Mikhail. That's it. And Mikhail's hurt bad. If we don't cooperate, we won't be walking away from this mission.
Then let's go over our plan. We're moving to the clock tower area, which is the designated landing zone for the extraction chopper. Once we get there and give the signal, the chopper will fly in and pull us out. Okay, people, let's get moving.
With our new escape plan, we take this wrench and make our merry way to this gas station and use the crank to raise this door. However, it breaks, so we use the wrench to finish the job. Once inside, Carlos catches up and a horde of zombies is shown heading towards us. Carlos goes to play hero, and we have this puzzle that I always just kind of power through, and I still have no real idea how it works, but hey, we got that shit. A sudden explosion kind of just like ruins everything, and then an even bigger explosion proceeds to make the situation somehow worse. As we return, some zombies get their heads blown off, and we take this bronze book from a statue of the mayor. We go over here to place that bronze book so we can safely take the bronze compass and place it in the statue's hand so we can obtain the battery. We return to these beta hunters and go upstairs so we can place the battery to operate this lift. Down here, we obtain a fuse before electrifying these chuds. As we go back to the train, we see Mikhail just fighting for his life, but he's kind of nice with it though. We help him back onto the train as we insert the power cable and fuse before returning to this alley so we can obtain the fire hose. We take out these mutts and use the hose to extinguish this fire. We then enter this building to find this Russian douchebag who totally didn't just kill his boy over here, and his name is Nikolai. So our next puzzle has one of 3 solutions, and that's actually determined by this commercial right here. Whichever medication is being advertised is what we type into this computer. We take the oil additive before Capcom shows off their really cool blinds. We control this crowd and get this really satisfying triple kill. Sadly, Nemesis wasn't the biggest fan of my trick shot, so we skedaddle. That is until the ground beneath us collapses. Man, I really hope a giant worm doesn't bust through the wall. Well, there goes that. We shoot it with some nice stinky rounds until it retreats, and we climb this ladder to return to the train. We fill it with oil and Carlos starts her up, but sadly, Corporate arrives and sees that Mikhail clocked in 1 second too late. And he's not even done yet. Nemesis is a fucking menace, bro. Do you see this shit? Too bad Mikhail realized that he wasn't done fighting yet either. We jump out the window as the train crashes. Joe awakens, and as some zombies arise from the flames, we take the clock tower key from behind this portrait. We use the key and reunite with Carlos once again. With the hope of getting rescued, we enter the base of the clock tower and grab the map. This place just feels absolutely incredible to traverse through. It's definitely my favorite location in this entire game. We acquire another key and we go upstairs to see some tarantula friends. Outside, we use that key to lower the ladder so we can grab this silver gear and find a puzzle that would be severely detrimental to those whom are audibly impaired. This puzzle takes so long. All we have to do is either set the pegs up or down to replicate this melody. It's actually really neat. I personally really like this one. We acquire the Chronos chain and combine it with the key to make the Chronos key. Nemesis pulls up and we blind his ass, and Jill fucking shoves him through concrete. Holy shit, she's strong as fuck. Really? Damn. We use the Chronos key on this door and see 3 statues giving us the amber ball, an obsidian ball, and a crystal ball. We insert our balls into these clocks to obtain the gold gear. Back to the top, we combine the gears and put the Chronos gear where it belongs. Jill goes out as the helicopter is totally gonna save us and not get shot down. Alright, I might have lied about that last part. Oh no! Jill sadly gets knocked by Nemi's little tentacle before letting out a big scream. I fucking dash dance through these rockets like when my ex-girlfriend got her softball friends to attempt to throw eggs at me at my friend Jorge's house before getting this tumorous looking fucker stuck on this pole. We shoot him for a long time and he randomly starts feeling really depressed, if you catch my drift. As Jill passes out and Carlos arrives, he brings her to the chapel and we now take control as Carlos. We make our way past these statues so we can push this bell. We gun down these gooners and enter the Raccoon City Hospital. A real nice fella tries to say hi, but I'm feeling rather introverted at the moment. We find a tape recorder from this man's body and use it on this voice recognition device so we can enter. Up the elevator and in the data room, we see Nikolai committing some more war crimes, and before he pulls his gun on Carlos, our man here is just as petty as me. With Nikolai out of the window, we take the sick room key and use it so we can push this cabinet onto this pressure plate. It reveals a microwave and we input 104 to get the vaccine base. Now we can descend, kill some hunters, we equalize the synthesizer so we can create the actual vaccine and see a bomb as Carlos runs out. The entire building collapses and we return to the clock tower as Nemesis shows off how ripped he is. We give Jill the vaccine and Carlos says that he's got some stuff to take care of, I guess. We run out and use the lockpick to find the park key. We use it to enter the park and find another key in this guy's hand. Also, the ambience of this area is just so good. I love this shit. We go and mess around with these cogs so the water gets strained. We enter the sewer and go up this way to use that key. We attain an iron pipe and ignite the fireplace. Once the fire subsides, we use that pipe to topple these bricks. And here we get another key until Nikolai arrives. He says that his team was sent here to collect data on the monsters rather than actually saving people. Who really would have guessed that Nikolai wasn't here to save people? What a notion. The earth beneath us begins to tremor, and as Jill goes outside, the ground under her feet collapses, and this giant wormy emerges from the rubble. Now, that cutscene was extremely generous with its size because that motherfucker would not be able to cause all that with this fucking measly ass stature. Alright, we pretty much just wait for it and spam our grenade launcher until this little fence falls down. We go all the way back and across the park to unlock this gate. We arrive at this bridge and Nemesis really doesn't like that, so we jump off and climb this ladder. We rendezvous with Carlos before he reveals that they pretty much plan on nuking the city and that we gotta get out of here pretty quick or we're gonna be a Jill fucking sandwich. We then find ourselves in some type of factory, so we make our way through to obtain a water sample and insert it into this funny little beep boop device. We basically move these wave ranges around to match the sample. We explode these assholes and go up this elevator as a timer hits the screen and Nemesis shows up just to get baited by Jill. We dump our freeze rounds into him and there's really not much he can do about it. it. We acquire the card key and exit as this really gorgeous cutscene plays. And I mean, just look at that water. Holy shit. We go over here to obtain the portable radar receiver, as we see that Nikolai got to the helicopter before we could. So with just about no hope left, an alert for a missile attack begins to go off. Great. We stumble into a room with a device called the Sword of Paracelsus, and we push in this battery before Nemesis appears to start going fucking Super Saiyan. That was a really aggressive F-bomb. Wow. We push in the second and third battery as the power begins to restore. Now we must stall for a bit, but we guide Nemi to the railgun as he gets neutralized. Just kidding, it's not dead yet. So Jill gets that OD Magnum and unloads into that fucker one last time. Yay! Fucking die, dude. Come on. Jill catches up with Carlos and the helicopter comes to our rescue. And it's none other than our goat, Barry Burton. Hey, you were almost a Jill sandwich. Almost a Jill sandwich, weren't you? Raccoon City gets utterly obliterated, to say the least, but hey, we got out of there. And that's pretty much all of Resident Evil 3, so here's my review of the game. I think the strongest points of Resident Evil 3 are the environments, its tension, and finally a persistent stalker. The environments are personally one of my favorite parts of this game because these pre-rendered backgrounds have a lot of stories to tell. They beautifully exhibit very real scenarios, whether it's broken glass on the ground, random fires throughout the city, or even the entire clock tower, which I can't believe they cut out of the remake, by the way. It's also just really cool to be able to explore way more of Raccoon City because it was only shown so little in Resident Evil 2, so it's really nice to have access to as much of it as we do in this game. The tension is so good because of how condensed this game really is. Every moment feels like it's impactful to some degree. Even if it's just Nemesis again, that doesn't make me any less terrified of him. With how many more enemies there are as well, I feel like this game incentivized me to fight way more than the last two entries, and I actually really liked it. Hell, I even loved it. I felt like I was constantly engaged, and this game just actually feels good to play. And I feel as though the dodge mechanic is something that is much better in theory, but hey, they tried and it kind of failed, but I still liked it, even if it's inconsistent as fuck. I know, I'm coping, but I like the game, alright? Fuck, man. Finally, Nemesis is just Nemesis, John Stalker, if you will. He's just a relentless force whether you decide to fight him or not. And the speed at which this man moves should be illegal. Some counter arguments I could see against this game is its length, the reload tool, and the overall idea of more action-based combat in general. Okay, so length. This game is pretty short in comparison to its predecessors, and that's because it wasn't even planned to be a mainline entry. It was originally a game about an Umbrella agent on a cruise ship. However, I think that despite it having the least overall playtime out of the original trilogy, I still genuinely think that it's the perfect mix of action, puzzles, and horror compared to the others. The reload tool and ammo crafting in general can be seen to taint the survival horror experience by taking away one less horror element, which in this case would be resource limitation. I think that resource limitation can only be so fun, especially when the focus of this game is to have more action and combat, and you can feel how you want about that, but it is what it is. I think I really do just love a good mix of action, puzzles, and horror, so that's why this is probably my favorite Resident Evil. Oh, and let me address the elephant in the room. The remake fucking sucks. You know it, I know it, we all know it, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts or experiences with your favorite Resident Evil because I'm genuinely curious. And I care. I really do. I care. Alright, with that said, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because I really appreciate it and it helps me out more than you know for algorithmic purposes. And I ain't going nowhere. I'ma just be making more content. And if you want to check out more like this, I have a lot more. So check it out. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.